I know what you guys are thinking from the title and thumbnail. Eli, finish one project before you start another. Well, you're right, but I can't help myself. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. This is my first car, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail probably. My 2001 Chevrolet Suburban. I know some of you guys are thinking, this thing looks pretty familiar. Well, that's because it used to sit right there where that trailer was. That trailer was scooted over, this thing sat there, or this thing sat right underneath that tree over there. You know, it's been in the background of some videos. I think I may have actually put this in a video a few years ago when we first bought this thing. Well, a little background on this thing, in case some of you guys are wondering. Me and my dad actually bought this thing back when I was 13. Anyway, we bought this thing off Facebook Marketplace, back before buying Facebook Marketplace deals on YouTube were a thing. But we bought this thing on Facebook Marketplace. We road tripped to go get it. It was such an awesome time. I mean, we had so much fun going to buy this thing. And this was my dad's pride and joy. The reason I say was his pride and joy was sadly my dad passed away a few months later after we bought this thing. After my dad passed away, this thing didn't sit around for a little bit. We have two other vehicles. My brother has a truck and my mom has a car. I couldn't drive at the time, so this thing just kind of got parked. I loved this thing. I always have ever since we bought it. And so we said, well, we'll keep it and, you know, Eli will drive it when he gets older. So here I am, I'm older, I'm 16 now. So here I am with my first vehicle. Another one of the reasons that this thing had gotten parked was, if you know anything about these vehicles, the AC compressor is right there behind this front tire. The AC had went out in it and we couldn't figure out why after my dad passed away. So my dad would have figured this out in a heartbeat. He would have been so upset to find out how long it took me to figure out what was wrong with the AC. And I'm sure some of you mechanics on YouTube are gonna laugh at me. The serpentine belt does not go around the AC compressor. It has a separate belt that comes off the motor to the AC. I didn't realize this for a long time, but once I finally did, I called up one of my buddies that's got a lift, and he said, yeah, man, I'll gladly help you do it. So threw this thing up on the lift, changed the belt, got it running, figured out it had the high pressure port Schrader valve was leaking in it. So I went to Harbor Freight and bought the gauges and the vacuum pump. Changed the Schrader valves myself, did everything for about $100. Recharged the whole system and everything, had cold air for about 2 days. Then it blew the high pressure switch out of the back of the AC compressor and burnt it up. I pulled the interfender rail out of this thing, pulled the AC compressor out, carried it up to the parts store to match it up with another one. They had it in later that day for me because I went in about lunchtime. They had it in a few hours later. Went and picked it up, come back the next day, threw this thing in here and got it running. I got the AC running all by myself. I was actually really proud of that. So now I have ice cold AC. It's starting to turn fall time here in Georgia, so I hope I'm not having to use that AC much longer. I hope I'm going to be able to cut it off and pop the sunroof open and ride around with my windows down and hopefully not even have to turn on the heater either. Like I said, this thing does have a sunroof in it. It does have full leather interior, leather front seats, leather back seat, and it does have a third row. I got it folded down right now, but it does have full leather interior. Now this is not something we went looking for. It just kind of fell into our laps and happened this way. As you can see right there, got heated seats. I put the Motor Trend floor mats in it. I like having rubber floor mats because, I mean, look how clean they are. I just pulled them out yesterday and rinsed them off with the water hose. Coming around over here to the captain's chair, driver's side, here's the gauge cluster. I'll cut it on here in a few minutes, but this thing only has 180,000 miles on it, which I'm sure some of you are like, oh my God, only 180? Well, this thing's a 2001. I ended up finding it over there in the glove box. This thing was bought new at AutoNation in Marietta on November 16th of 2000. But yeah, I mean, this thing is very clean for a 2001. I mean, you can see the seats haven't really sagged or anything. Back here in the back, got leather seats again. Over there, I got my little windshield cover because, I mean, this thing sits outside most of the time. Right here, got my little toolbox. Just, you know, we live in the South, like to have tools on us. And then here's my soap. Sometimes I like to go take a bath in the river. No, I'm just kidding. These Irish Springs are wonderful air fresheners. I had a buddy of mine tell me that those were good air fresheners, and so I started using them, and he is not wrong. It smells amazing. So just keep that tucked up underneath the seat somewhere or something, you know. Back here in the back, Got a little blanket because sometimes I have to haul stuff in here when I can't use my brother's truck or something. I usually drive this all the time though. But I got this blanket I can lay out. Got a rag back here for some reason. I don't really know why. I guess I used it the other day. Oh, I probably used it to pump gas with. Anyway, but you know, protect the carpet, use the rug. There's the third row right there. It's leather. That thing is like brand new. I think it's only been sat in just very few times. I mean, the leather on it is very, very new. I probably need to fold that thing out and leather condition it up sometime because it never gets sit in. Maybe you guys can see in here, kinda, sorta, not really. There we go, kinda. Yeah, there we go. It's got a Boss Audio System subwoofer in it. Now, that obviously is not a very good subwoofer. I mean, I told my mom I was buying a Boss speaker for this thing. She said, oh, you mean Bose? I said, no, it's a Boss. It's a knockoff Bose. This thing right here bumps for a $29 Amazon Prime speaker. I mean, this thing bumps. This thing actually did not have a subwoofer in it when we got it. If you know anything about these vehicles, they do come with a stock subwoofer back here in the back, a little stock 8 with an amplifier on it. And it didn't have a subwoofer in it. Somebody took it out. I think somebody put an aftermarket subwoofer in it, and then they took it out when they sold it to us. And so I put this one in here just a few weeks ago. And it bumps for a $30 Amazon speaker. I mean, it satisfies my needs, I'll be honest. And in some people's opinion, I have my tag on the wrong way. I flip it back and forth. 1 week it might be like this, 1 week it might be upside down. If you don't know, the joke is turn it up. Put a little shorty antenna on here, just a little $15 Walmart antenna. It had one of those big old long stock grandpa antennas on here before. Nothing wrong with them. I like this thing a little bit better. And it's rubbery. You don't have to take it off when you go through the car wash, which I don't take this thing through the car wash very often. But you know, it's also nice not having this thing smacking trees and everything. And honestly, this thing has better reception than the original one ever did. Now, if you read the center caps on these wheels, that says Chevrolet Trucks. Well, that's because those wheels actually came off of a Chevrolet pickup, a 99 model actually. I bought them on Facebook Marketplace. Dude had the tires and wheels on there for $100. Not these tires, the tires that was on them. Man, I can't believe he was driving on them. They were war slick. I hope he went and blacked the road up before he sold it to me. Because, man, they were awful slick. I mean, they had wires showing. So, like I said, I hope he went and blacked the road up in them before he gave them to me. But anyway, bought the wheels for $100 off Facebook Marketplace. It's about 10 minutes down the road from me. This thing had the stock Suburban wheels on here, and I'll put a picture in of them, but they're just not really my style. I don't really like them a whole lot. These tires were already on those other wheels. The white letters were flipped to the inside. So when I got these new wheels put on, I flipped them around to the outside. And honestly, I think it churched this thing up pretty good. I mean, it looks real good now, in my opinion. I cannot remember if I've already said it or not, but this does have the 5.3 liter V8 in it. You know, pretty good motors. These things are very reliable and, you know, probably gonna outlive us all. I'm sure some people are thinking, well, has it got anything done to it? Yes, I did want to say that. This thing has a fully built heads cam package from Texas Speed out in Texas. I shipped it off to them and got them to do all the work to it. It's making roughly 909 wheel horsepower. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. It is a 100% bone stock 5.3. It's not making 909 wheel horsepower. It's making whatever this thing made stock, plus all this weight on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to stay up to date with the build and see what I plan on doing with it here in the future. Remember guys, life's a roller coaster. If you go down, you're always gonna come back up. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later.